But there is a bit of a negative connotation with being made in China. And I don't know if that goes hand in hand with luxury goods. Hey everyone, I'm Connor and welcome to my channel, The Closet. If it's your first time here, on my channel I like to talk about all things luxury, whether it be bag reviews or thoughts and opinions on trending topics within the luxe community. That is something I like to tackle on. So if you are interested in that, I would love it if you could hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you're notified when I release new content. And if you are returning, welcome back to my channel. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Okay. So today's video is a bit different to the videos that I normally do because generally I will have like bullet points or some notes on the kind of thing that I'm going to be talking about. So I don't want to be going on one of those tangents or like repeating myself 50 times. But today's video, I'm like going full commando. Is that it, commando? Oh no, commando's when you wear no underwear. No, not that. Going, what's it? What's that other one? Going rogue. Yes, I'm going rogue in this video. But basically, the general consensus is, do you care where your luxury goods are made? Do you care if they're made in China? Do you care if they're made in France? Do you care if they're made in Italy? Do you care if they're made in Bangladesh? Let's just get right into it. Okay, so what brought me to this kind of point of wanting to do a video on it was I was talking to one of my friends the other day on Instagram, and he was saying that he's really into Prada at the moment and he loves a lot of the bags that they have, and they've really revamped their kind of demographic and their target market and everything. And while I do agree with that, and I do a lot of the bags that Prada have brought out in the last few years, I'm totally vibing with, but always something that burns in the back of my mind with Prada is that they do outsource their production to overseas warehouses and overseas facilities. And I don't know, it just leaves a bit of a bad taste in my mouth for some reason. So I did a little research, did a little digging as to where exactly Prada produce their goods and where exactly things are made. I had to do all this research, and I went on their company portfolio, and they basically reference having, and don't quote me on the exact numbers, but from memory, I believe it was 23 manufacturing facilities, and they are all situated in Europe. And I think 18 or 19 of them are in Italy, then there was one in France, one in the UK, and the other one was in Romania. And I was thinking, okay, so where have people gotten this production in China from, or production in Asian countries from with Prada? Because on their company portfolio, which was updated for 2020, there was no mention of a facility overseas in Asian countries. So I was kind of like, that's strange, but I had seen it referenced in a few articles, and when I went to find the citations for those articles, I couldn't find anything. So I was like, interesting. I dug a little deeper. Then I found that Prada, the Prada group, or I think they referred to as Prada Spa, something like that, they had stock available on the Hong Kong stock exchange in 2011. Because they had bought, or they'd become available as like stock on the Hong Kong stock exchange in 2011, the article that was referencing that hinted that they had also kind of invested in production in China. And I was like, okay, so 2011 must have been a significant year, right? So I went on to the annual financial report for Prada for 2011. And then on page 44, they had in their risks, their risk portfolio part, they had risks regarding the outsourcing of manufacturing activities. They had a paragraph that basically showed how they mitigated the risk of outsourcing manufacturing. So I thought, okay, are they just being very clever with their wording on their website where they're saying, yes, we have 23 facilities where we produce goods, but they're not mentioning the goods that are actually outsourced because that's not relevant to them producing them specifically. So I was like, very, very sneaky. But I did all of this reading and I got really bored towards the end of it and I couldn't really find a definite answer. But there seemed to be like it was hinting towards that a certain percentage of their goods were produced in China or produced in Asia. And obviously because they have so many facilities in Italy and other European countries, of course, I don't believe that all of their items are made overseas. But imagine if you paid $3,000 for a Prada bag, knowing that it was manufactured in China. And I am not in any way saying that being made in China is bad, and I'm not saying that the quality is bad. I'm not saying that it was made by children in a sweatshop or anything like that, because like we all know, things that from big brands that are manufactured in China, like with Apple and like with Sony and all of those companies, they're obviously manufactured under license, and companies that own these factories, they're responsible for the standards, the quality of workmanship and all of that. So it is made to the quality as if it was made in its home country. But there is a bit of a negative connotation with being made in China. And I don't know if that goes hand in hand with luxury goods, especially when you're paying such a significant price. So I did a little bit more reading and I found another luxury brand that has confirmed, and is confirmed, that they do make luxury goods in Asia, and that is Burberry. So Burberry have a very diverse kind of distribution manufacturing channels where they make certain items like their cashmere items and their trenches all in the UK. I think the cashmere items are made in Scotland because Scotland is famous for cashmere. But then a lot of their kind of apparel and their like belts and their gloves and things like that are made in the Philippines. Some are made in China and some are made in Vietnam. Now, Burberry is not a cheap brand. It's obviously not top tier luxury, but it is definitely in the luxury realm. I was going to say in the luxury womb. No, in the luxury realm. Oh my God, I can't speak. That's a very hard word to say with braces. In the luxury realm. And it's not cheap. And I mean, a lot of their bags are made in Italy and things like that. But I don't know how comfortable I would be purchasing expensive Burberry gloves knowing that they were made in the Philippines or knowing that they were made in China. And I don't know why, because if there was no made in label, they would be the exact same. But it's because I know that it was made in a kind of factory in Asia. It's not so glamorous. So I don't know. I can't really explain it, but it's just how I feel about it. Similarly, it's like when I bought my Pochette Métis and I wanted like a made in France bag because Louis Vuitton is like a French brand and I like the bags to come from the like home country of where they're made where they're from. You know what I mean? And so I think it has something to do with that, and if I'm just being fussy, but I don't know why. I couldn't purchase a luxury bag knowing that it was made in China because I would feel like I am sacrificing a part of the thrill of buying luxury goods. Countries like Switzerland and France and Germany and Italy, they're just renowned for producing impeccable leather goods and impeccable craftsmanship, and because it's been done in these European countries for so long, it is like their bread and butter, and that is why so many luxury fashion houses are European, because they have this rich history and this unique way of making things. So I feel like when it's then outsourced to Asian countries and it's manufactured in factories, it just kind of loses that heritage and you lose the bit of the gloss of the brand. And of course, I understand and I know that in Europe, there are still factories and there are still shift workers and things who make these bags, but I don't know if it's like a placebo thing or I don't know, but I personally just would not feel great about purchasing a luxury item knowing that it was made in Asia and it's not related to the kind of item, because I know Hermes do produce a lot of their lacquer items in Vietnam, a lot of their wood items in Indonesia and things like that, but they're not outsourcing their production to these countries because it's cheaper. They're outsourcing it to these countries because they want to get the best artisans from that country making items that they're famous for. Like in Vietnam, their crockery and lacquer, that is their skill, that is their heritage with and their expertise are applied to those items. With Hermes and their wooden, like mahogany items, they're done in Indonesia because that is their local craft there and they are best at doing it. So I completely get it from that perspective, but Prada getting bags made in China, is it like making bags in China is not their bread and butter, I guess, so to say. So I don't know. Let me know if I'm crazy. Let me know if you disagree and whatever. I don't know how I feel about it. Well, I do know how I feel about it, but I don't know. Yeah, Pop it down in the comments, reach out and let me know how you feel about it as well. And yeah, but thanks so much for watching this video. Definitely a bit different to what I would normally do, but I wanted to kind of have that conversation thing, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will hopefully see you all next time.